name is Addison from the country of Georgia, which is bordered with Russia, Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, in the east, in the Kakheti region.
Anna, thanks for coming to talk with us. So can you tell us a little bit about what makes this particular place that you're making wine special? A little bit about the terroir maybe that's particular to that region?
The Kakheti is a wine region, and we're nestled right at the foothills of the Caucasus Mountains, which is very important for the rocks and the minerals, and the rocky soil is very important for the grapes. The Dutch did a discovery that the rocks are more important even than the soil to the winemaking, because the roots have a lot of a way to distribute themselves and grab on, and so it makes a very strong root structure. And we're also located in between 3 rivers.
Now, I understand that there's a very specific way that they make wine in Georgia with these very large ceramic pots.
The viticulture in Georgia has been known for 8,000 years. And the Georgian method is the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List, the way the Georgians make the wine. For example, this is a white wine grape, 9 Oaks wine. This is the Rkatsiteli, and the Georgians make white wine like they do the red. We use the skin, the juice, and the pit to make the wine, which gives it this gorgeous amber colors. This is a long skin contact. It's on the skin for 1 month, so 21 to 27 days. And we also make the wine in the amphoras. They're really big vessels that are buried underground, so they're egg-shaped with a little point in order to keep the wine cool and at the same temperature when it's in the earth. Because this is our vineyard, it's very important for us to keep the quality. So it's great for us to have our vineyard versus, for example, buying just a wine from another vineyard, because we know exactly what is going into the soil. We don't spray with anything. We don't put herbicides or coloring. It's also do a spontaneous yeast. And we're able to harvest and make wine immediately. So during the harvest, we collect the grapes by hand, and then it's going immediately into the marani, which is the Georgian name for winery. First, we separate the stems, and then we keep the skin, the juice, and the pit. And it goes into the qvevri or the amphora for 1 year. So first, it's fermented for 21 to 27 days, and then it'll go in and out where we separate it from the pomace about 3 or 4 times. So we take the wine out, clean it, then it goes back into the amphoras. And we have classic wine and we have the amphora wine. So the classic range stays in the qvevri for 3 to 4 months, and then the reserve is there for 1 year. So it's slow winemaking process.
And again, how big was the winery? I know you mentioned it was like fairly large acreage.
So it's 20 hectares of wine and spread around 4 different grape varieties. We have 3 whites and 1 red. I would say 8 hectares of the red, and the rest are 4 varieties of the white.
Is there any particular grape or any one of those that you really concentrate on?
Saperavi is a very well-known red grape in Georgia.
Wonderful, I've had it.
And it's very special because it's a tenter grape, so where you has a red flesh on the inside. So in Georgia we call it the black wine. And then we have the white wine, where we make the amber wine. They are very rare grape varieties that we will concentrating on bringing back. And so the Kisi, Khikhvi, and Saperavi, we pretty much have an equal amount, and they're quite rare for Georgia.
So can you give us a bit of a breakdown about the individual grapes that you're working with?
We have Kisi, Khikhvi, and Rkatsiteli. Those are the white grapes, and the Saperavi. So Khikhvi and Kisi are quite a rare grape. For Khikhvi, there's about 100,000 hectares total left in Georgia. A lot of the winemakers in Georgia, they used to sell the wine. They sell the grapes and they sold the juice. They only kept the wine for themselves, kind of their house wine, and people would have the qvevri in their backyard that they would have for the year. They did not make the wine for export. They did not make the wine to the bottle. And we believe you have to go through the full cycle of making the wine to the end, to the bottle. So we wanted to show to the rest of the world that Georgia produces great wines, and it's necessary for them to travel. So it's necessary to make wine for the full cycle when it goes into the bottle. And we really encourage all of the young winemakers to make natural wine, to make biodynamic wine, and not use all of the pesticides and other garbage that's going into wine. So we're really proud of that.
What do you feel the state of organic or natural winemaking is like there?
I see it shifting a lot. Like the winemakers they were growing the grapes, they were farming the grapes, and they were selling the wine. And that's a big difference between selling the wine and selling the grapes versus making the wine and making it to the end, to the bottle. Russia was a huge export for Georgian wines, so the Kakhetians or different parts of Georgia, they would sell the wine to Russia. And so they did not, except for themselves, for the house wine, they didn't make it to the very end. And now we see a lot of younger winemakers really going towards making the wine and making the wine to the end and putting it in the bottle.
So what would you say separates you guys from others in your region that are creating wine?
I would have to start first with a winemaker, Rkatsiteli. He's an amazing person. He's a geomapper, he's an environmentalist, and he's just love wrapped up in the human body. He gives so much energy to the wine. We don't add any herbicides, so that really separates us from the rest of winemakers. We make sure we have limited intervention. Like Mamaka says, we just watch and listen to the wine. We try not to meddle with it, and we make our wine really the Georgian traditional method, which we do it with the skin. A lot of people don't do the Kakheti traditional skin contact in the qvevri. They'll do a lot of it in the tank. Mamaka, the winemaker, he was growing up making wine on the west side of Georgia, and all of the neighbors are making wine, and as a kid you're growing up and you're seeing why everyone's making wine around you, and he asked his dad, he's like, well, why is someone's wine really good and some wine is really bad? Because everyone's making wine. He sees the same process. And his father said, a bad man can never make good wine.